So how will today's agreement go down with enthusiasts for Brexit on the Conservative Party? David Jones was a minister in the Department for Exiting the European Union and is a senior member of the Eurosceptic group Leave Means Leave.
The aspect to be welcomed is the fact that we would now appear to be moving towards trade talks, or at least clearing the way for that. So I think that that's good. To that extent, it's broken the logjam. I think that it's good that the jurisdiction of the European Court of Justice is being restricted to 8 years. Previously, there was concern that it might be for a far longer period. I think, however, the biggest worry of the document is paragraph 49. Which relates to the relations over Ireland. This is obviously a very important part of the negotiation, and I think that it's necessary to maintain the Belfast Agreement, and it's good to see that everybody is committed to that. But what we've got is just a commitment to trying to work towards agreed solutions. And if there are no agreed solutions, then the clause provides that the UK will maintain full alignment with the rules of the internal market, which support North-South cooperation. The worry about that, of course, is that that could well relate to very important areas, such as, for example, agriculture, which we would want to throw into the mix in negotiating a free trade agreement with a third country. And if this were to persist, then it could severely handicap our ability to enter into those free trade agreements. So I think we do need to see that particular provision refined.
But how refined? How? Because obviously it's taken quite a bit to get this agreement. Dublin are insisting on it. The EU are insisting on it.
Well, it's pretty clear that this paragraph was put together probably in the early hours of this morning. And I think that when one looks at it closely, there are concerns of the sort that I've just mentioned, which I think have got to be addressed. The document is clear on the face of it. It says in terms that nothing is agreed until everything is agreed. So I think that there is still scope for the British government to go back and seek further clarification of this particular provision. The final concern that I've got is that the last 5 pages of the document relate to financial provisions. They're extremely technical. It's hard to see that there is any sort of cap being put upon the UK's liability to maintain payments to the EU after departure. We, of course, have been talking about a figure of 40 billion euro, but this is very much a sort of back of an envelope figure. And it seems to me that it's quite possible that the liability of the UK could be considerably more under those last 5 pages.
Nigel Farage says, I've no doubt it'll finish up at 60 billion. Frankly, we look like mugs.
Well, that's Nigel Farage's view, but putting it my own way, I have got concerns that we could end up paying more than the 40 billion that has been the sort of headline figure that has been talked about over the last few days.
But hasn't the Prime Minister, to put it crudely, got you over a barrel because you've got to go along with this? Otherwise, she's in very serious trouble.
Well, clearly we want to support the Prime Minister. I think we've got to give credit to the Prime Minister for her hard work over the last week and for putting this deal together. But we do need to get these issues clarified. It may well be that it's just a question of getting clarification from the government.
But the Prime Minister is pretty weak. You have no option but to support her, do you?
Well, as I say, I think we're all supportive of the Prime Minister, but nevertheless, we want to make sure that the deal that we're going to be getting is something that is wholly in the British interest. We must make absolutely sure that there is nothing in that could in any way inhibit this country's ability to do free trade agreements with third countries.
Conservative MP David Jones, who used to be a Brexit minister.